As we come to the end of week 3 on lockdown, I still have no access to my studio, so please forgive the poor lighting and sound and the absence of my usual backdrop. I have an important announcement to make at the end of this video, so stay tuned. I'm Jada Franson and this is my weekly roundup. Happy Easter to you all. The true meaning of Easter seems to be so overlooked, much like the celebration of Christmas, I suppose, but these Christian celebrations have been hijacked and commercialised. Because the truth is, Easter is no more about bunnies and eggs than Christmas is about a certain fat bloke and his transportation, just in case the kids are watching. But plainly, Easter is the most important event in all of history. Many people might think that the most important event was something else, like the day God created the world, or the day they were born, or the day they got married. But as wonderful as those events may have been, I can assure you they do not even come close to what happened 2,000 years ago. On that Friday, upon that cross, in Golgotha, Jesus Christ paid the ultimate sacrifice for our sins. We hear that term so often, the ultimate sacrifice. But do we ever consider what that really means? It meant that Jesus, God in human form, after being beaten to the point that he was unrecognisable and whilst nailed to a cross, took on every single sin of every single person that ever has and ever will exist. The only completely sinless being that ever walked the planet took on that catastrophic burden for us lowly, undeserving sinners. There is so much of God that is beyond our simple human comprehension. This act is certainly one example. But to try and put it into the simplest of human context, think of a small child. We all think of our little ones as innocent and pure. Now imagine that child taking on the sin of a thief, a murderer, a rapist. Now imagine that child bearing the sin of every murderer and every rapist that has or will exist. And you still won't even be close to what Jesus went through for us. So when the shops are full of gimmicks, chocolate eggs, cuddly toy bunnies and fluffy chicks with little plastic feet, whilst it might feel nice to give these to our kids, we should make sure we tell them that a chocolate egg comes nowhere near the true gift that we received at Easter. Eternal salvation through a crucified and risen Jesus Christ. The nanny state policing in the UK has been stepped up a gear, from police forces issuing unlawful fines to robocops enforcing imaginary laws. You name it, they're at it. Chief Constable Nick Adderley of Northamptonshire Police reckons he's going to start rifling through your shopping.
I am making a plea to the public: continue to work with us, continue to cooperate. Do not fall foul of the law. Do not be one of those people when this is over that you are one of the minority that received a fixed penalty notice, or worse than that, actually a criminal record. Of course, at the extreme level, by going out and disobeying the law, you are increasing the chances of spreading this coronavirus and causing many more deaths, unnecessary deaths, in the county. So I want to be clear. Obey the law. Do not fall foul of the legislation that's now in place. We have given the communities 3 weeks to understand what is required and why. As from today, we will start to enforce that. I do want to make the point, though, that my message to the police officers here is one of common sense and discretion, as I said before. So we will not at this stage be setting up roadblocks. We will not at this stage be starting to marshal supermarkets and checking the items in baskets and trolleys to see whether it's a legitimate, necessary item. But again, be under no illusion. If people do not heed the warnings and the pleas that I'm making today, we will start to do that.
This is what happens if you try and take that shopping to your vulnerable relative.
I'm picking up the plant at the same time. But I wasn't stood there and come out because you was stood there saying, talking about, is this needed and all that. That's why I come out. Nah, no way. Give me a ticket for what? 46196. Give me a ticket for what? You're a bored guy. Go. There's groups of people all over the place. Why are you so long? What's your details? I'm not giving you any details.
Are you going to give me details? I'll just lock you up.
Lock me up for what?
Breaking COVID guidelines.
Keep your 2 minutes away, bro.
Put your hands on your head. Put your hands on your head.
Why am I getting sprayed? Am I being threatening? Am I being threatening towards you? Am I being threatening?
Turn around or you're going to get sprayed.
Am I being threatened?
Turn around or you're going to get sprayed. Put your hands on your head like I'm telling you.
What was that? Are you bored?
Just one of them.
I haven't done anything wrong.
Release your hands or you're going to get
You
sprayed.
just told me to put them on my head. You can't tell me to do one thing and then tell me to do something else.
Put your hands behind your back.
I'm putting my hands behind my back.
You're dying to spray that, you.
I know.
What's up with you?
Yo, ask me to do something and I'll do it. You said put your hand. Why did you put it on my wrist like that, man? Twist that top one around. Yeah, twist the top one around, man.
Excessive, that, mate.
Top one, he's twisting on my wrist. Unloosen
Get his badge number, we'll all complain about him.
Yo, loosen the top one.
Stop shouting.
Yo, loosen the top things, man.
Lean over the car.
Bro, I said loosen
How can you lean over the car? You seen how tight it is?
Car like a car.
Why are you pushing him for? What are you doing?
the top one, man.
That's excessive.
Loosen the top handcuff, man. No.
Bored, you. Harassing people for no reason.
Loosen the top one and let me twist my hand around properly, bro. You just keep saying things over and over. You're not helping. You're not diluting the situation. You're making it worse.
Yeah, fine.
Because I come to drop some stuff off. Mate, the people have been recording from the start, so I am listening. Can you loosen the top one and I'll be a lot more compliant, but I'm in pain right now, so it's hard for me to be compliant to you, mate.
Overly excessive.
Are you listening to me or you're just going to keep me in pain? Loosen the top handcuff and I will calm down.
In the current pandemic, there's more pressing situations to be dealing with than coming
Mr.
over and
Officer.
bothering somebody going about his business on his own.
Mr. Officer, can you loosen the top handcuff?
No one will be next. You can't threaten us. You can't threaten us. We're not scared of you. No one will be next.
My hand is going, my left arm is going numb. Can you
Mum.
vulnerable members of my family? That's what happened.
Hey, get your hands off me, mum. Don't push my mum. Get your hands off me, mum.
I was coming to stand beside him.
Well,
I was coming to stand behind him.
I don't know that. Step away, please.
She's got no threat. She's in her bare feet.
Oh, so you can take my details in front of everyone, mate. You don't got to put me in the back of no car. I'm dropping food off to vulnerable members of my family who can't do nothing and taking a treat home with me.
Yeah, he's trying to give him a fine and arrest him. Joke.
Don't worry about it, Auntie.
Because he come to bring food for his vulnerable auntie and take a tree away.
I'm not going to do no harm. I'm just trying to find out what's happened.
She's not done anything to anyone. Hey, stop pointing at my mum like that. Stop pointing at my mum like that. Stop pointing at my mum like that.
The Police Service of Northern Ireland, known as the PSNI, have rolled out a Snitch on Your Neighbour campaign. We have launched our COVID-19 online reporting tool. I find it preposterous that the police in Northern Ireland, of all places, the country I have made my home, which has known so much conflict and division, and where I'm proud to say I have friends from both communities, think that this sort of divisive policing is what this province, which is long deserving of peace, really needs. It's not just the PSNI that are encouraging people to tout on each other. Cambridgeshire Police have proudly announced, we have now developed an online form allowing you to report individuals breaching COVID-19 restrictions via our website. This is the lowest form of policing, if you can even call it that. But then again, I guess the newly empowered Stasi need British citizens to grass each other up because they are busy carrying out important duties like making up ridiculous raps about us all being under house arrest.
Yo, this is Derby Police. Don't be afraid, we come in peace. We got a message, so listen up quick. Take our advice and you may not get sick. Stay at home whenever you can. Don't go out on the streets with your fam. Don't walk around in two or more, or welcome knocking at your door. Only go to the shop for essential things like bread, milk, fruit and cheese strings. Go stretch your legs, but only one time. Do as we say or you might get a fine. Please help us to fight this disease. Lots of love from your favourite PCs.
Or shouting at people on almost empty beaches. And putting out a barbecue belonging to people who were completely alone before these officers goose-stepped towards them. Not only are we allegedly prohibited from sitting in wide open spaces with no one else around, according to the Gestapo, our children are no longer allowed to play in their own garden.
Stay indoors because of
Yeah.
COVID-19.
So you're saying I'm not allowed on my front garden?
You cannot come on your front garden.
Did everyone hear that?
Yes.
Not allowed.
I'm recording.
Can you step back a little bit, please?
Come on your front garden.
Can I just estimate that? When
No,
them
leave it, leave
coppers
it.
were
No, she
passing
says-
them leaflets
says
yesterday,
we're not allowed
we
on
were
the
sat
garden.
front garden. She didn't say anything to us.
Well, I can't speak for anybody else, right? But this is a reason. You know, when you look around and there's nobody out, it's because.
Yeah, but you can't expect me
There's
to
not
keep
no
the
one
people
out. Go down the
outside.
street. They're all over the place.
It's not me. It's the government.
You're not allowed on your front gardens, people.
You do not want your children.
Yeah, but I'm
to
only
get
on my garden.
You just the virus does not stop on your. A thousand people died yesterday. 1,000 people.
Come on.
You're in a car with another person less than 2 meters apart.
With
Special powers again.
No, I haven't got special powers.
You told me you had special powers about 20 minutes ago.
No, we have government powers to ask people to stay indoors. I don't have special powers that are going to stop me having COVID-19 or getting it. I am dealing with people like yourself every day. I have protection.
Where does it say we can't go on the front garden? What do you do for your hours
No.
exercise and stuff?
You can go for your hours exercise. You can go walking for your hours exercise.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
I spend my hours exercise on the front garden.
Right, sir. You can film me as long as you want. I'm asking you to go
You're
indoors.
filming me, I'm
Are
filming you.
you going indoors or are you refusing?
No, I'm going shopping in a minute. I'm going to Aldi.
You've already been to the shop once.
Yeah.
I've seen you with 2 cans of pop.
Yeah,
You're supposed to go for a set, not a set.
I got gas and electric.
Right.
You can go and check my meter if you want. There's £20 on each now.
Right.
Do you want to come in and check my meter? I've just put £20 on each.
I'm asking you to go indoors. Are you going indoors or are you refusing to go indoors?
I'm indoors.
Right, okay. It's all recorded. Thank you very much for your time.
Alright. Not allowed on your gardens, everyone.
But you might not have to worry about your kids for much longer because the World Health Organization say they are going to start coming into our homes and abducting them.
Dr. Michael Ryan, he's a leader at the World Health Organization, announced that in response to the spread of this virus, authorities may have to enter people's homes and remove family members, presumably by force.
In most parts of the world, due to lockdown, most of the transmission that's actually happening in many countries now is happening in the household, at family level. In some senses, transmission has been taken off the streets and pushed back into family units. Now we need to go and look in families to find those people who may be sick and remove them and isolate them in a safe and dignified manner.
Just so you know, we're coming to your house, seizing your children and, quote, isolating them in a safe and dignified manner.
In case anyone was wondering how the World Health Organization will know which of our relatives to kidnap, well, they'll probably just spy on us all using drones that detect how warm we are. And if all of that isn't enough to concern you, then maybe this statement from officials that the UK will have to live with some restrictions until coronavirus vaccine is developed will. I have friends that are anti-vaxxers, but I must be completely honest, I really don't know much about it. It isn't a subject I have ever researched. However, I do wholly object to the premise that I will only be given back my civil liberties once I am given a vaccination that I do not want. I should have the freedom to choose what is injected into my body. So should you. Millions of men fought, bled and died for us to be free, and I'll be damned if I'm just going to roll over whilst those freedoms are stolen from me. The sacrifice of those men will not be in vain. I have witnessed incident after incident over the past few weeks of the police shamelessly abusing their powers against my people. People have been unlawfully fined, interrogated, screamed at, threatened with pepper spray, handcuffed, and most concerning of all, a lady was arrested, held in a cell for 2 nights. Then, in her absence and without representation, she was convicted in a court of law of a crime that doesn't exist. Thankfully, that woman had her conviction withdrawn by the CPS, but only after they, the police and the judiciary, played out their totalitarian fantasy and found her guilty of an imaginary crime. I care about my people and their well-being, whether that be protecting the elderly from a virus or defending the liberties of my fellow Brits. Having previously worked in the legal profession for many years, I also have a keen interest in the law and its application. I am certain, just from the videos that I've played you today, that there have been and will be many more instances of police abusing their powers. So I decided to do something about that. I am launching a free advocacy service to any of my fellow Britons that have been subject to this tyrannical and unlawful policing. The British Freedom Movement will offer help to those who feel they have had their rights infringed upon. If you or anyone you know has been the subject of what you believe might be an abuse of police powers, then contact me by visiting www.britishfreedommovement.com. To all of my fellow Britons, stay calm, stay safe, and stay free.